Hey my loves, welcome back to my YouTube channel. Thank you so much for tuning in to today's video on He and She Rises TV. Today I want to talk about self-transparency. Yes, I said self-transparency. Why this topic? The reason why I've picked this topic is because it usually starts with us. It all starts with us. This is always something that you're going to find me share in almost all of my videos. So what is the definition of self-transparency? Self-transparency really and truly is being honest with yourself, to be open with yourself. You've got to be real with yourself, with your needs, with your boundaries, with your own bad habits, with your strengths, your weaknesses. That's what self-transparency is. Self-transparency is when you can take accountability and responsibility if you've hurt someone, if you've done something wrong, you've not acted in your best behavior, or just in a way that's not aligned with your values and your morals. Self-transparency is when you can sit down with yourself and say, do you know what? I really was the villain in that situation. Now, sometimes with self-transparency is that you can fall into this space of like thinking that you have to take responsibility for everything. But when it comes to self-transparency, you have to know, there are two things particularly that you have to know and be clear on. You have to be clear on your responsibility in whatever the situation is and the other party's responsibility. Sometimes that other party responsibility is not necessarily a person or a thing in the moment. It could be something in your childhood growing up, right, that you've picked on. And regardless, it's made you become the kind of person that you are today. And maybe it's just not as, pleasing, right? And it hurts other people. Now you have to acknowledge the part of like, this way that I am didn't fully come from me. It came from my lineage. It came from my family. Actually, I took this on from a friend. I learned this behavior from a friend. But now it's my responsibility to do things differently. So because I saw my family doing things this way, does not mean I have to follow in that trajectory. Honestly, for me, when it comes to self-transparency, I think I'm one of the, I like to believe that I'm very self-transparent with myself. That one I'm very transparent before God, and I'm transparent like within myself. I generally feel like when you come to a place of self-transparency and self-acceptance, you come to this place of feeling whole, regardless of your bad habits, good habits, whatever it is that you think, that makes you feel or be this great person or a bad person, right? It makes you feel whole. You feel whole from the inside because now you are actually aware of your weaknesses and you know what to work on. You can say out that, in fact, nobody can come and chat to you. No one can say to you, oh, you're this, you're that. Yes, because when they come to you, you already know that about yourself. Self-transparency really is the beginning of the breakthrough for you because the battle starts in the mind. Now, that's a whole other video for another day that I'm going to talk about, but the battle truly starts in the mind and it starts with you. Have you ever had those moments? I would even put my hands up for this moment I'm about to talk about, when you're in church, you're listening to a sermon and the pastor is preaching and you're hearing him just give it harsh, and you're there thinking about your neighbor, you're thinking about your brother, your partner, like, oh, they should be the one hearing this message, when actually in that moment maybe that message is for you. But one thing with us human beings, we do love to project because we cannot be comfortable in the discomfort of our own patterns or our own self. So here are 3 reasons why you should develop self-transparency. When you're self-transparent with yourself, you can finally stop gaslighting yourself, your emotions, or everything that has to be about you. So it's so funny because recently in class, my lecturer did say something that we do need to be careful with, affirming ourselves, like, all the things that we try to say, like, oh, I am great, I am beautiful, this and da. She said we need to be careful between positive affirmation and self-enhancements. Because if you just self-enhance, and self-enhancement means you calling yourself things, you saying things to yourself that you don't even truly believe, you don't have any desire to even put into action and become that person that you are. You're just saying it because, it's like a grandiose mindset, like you're just in Delulu land, basically. That person, whoever just sits there self-enhancing themselves more than what they actually are. It's so funny, as I speak this, I'm just being brought to mind a scripture a scripture is being brought to mind where I don't know what the actual word or the actual name of the scripture, but it talks about don't overestimate yourself more than that which God has given you. Don't overestimate yourself more than that which God has given you. So in whatever measure that he gives it to you, you take it in humility, in thanksgiving, and operate in that measure. And as God sees fit, if he feels like you have grown in capacity to handle more, then he will give you more. These things are in the scriptures, right? So be careful of self-enhancement. Okay, and in all of these moments of even when you're recognizing your weaknesses and things like that, it's not about judging you. These things are not here to judge you. When you know and you're aware of weaknesses in your life or in your habits or whatever it is, it's not to judge you, but to recognize this pattern and shift it. This is what self-transparency does. Because the truth of the matter is that if you're deluded about who you are, you cannot be transparent with yourself. You wouldn't even know what you need to change. You wouldn't even know what you need to do differently. You're just going to keep on moving the same way and think, oh, you know what? I'm a great person. I'm so kind. I'm so this, I'm so that. But then really, when people experience you, you're opposite that. You're horrible, you're mean, you're rude, you're arrogant. Now, I'm not saying that for you. I'm just saying in general. Yeah? Just in general. That the importance of self-acceptance helps you to not gaslight yourself, your emotions, and helps you come into that place of recognizing your patterns so that you can make the right changes. Number 2, it builds authenticity in relationships. Let me tell you something, gone are the days, I used to be that person in the past where I used to pretend like I didn't care about things and I just wanted to be nonchalant. And the thing is that really and truly, deep down in my heart, in my belly, I cared. One thing with me was that I knew how to pretend like I didn't care. And because of that, because I was afraid to be vulnerable with the people that I'm meant to be vulnerable with, guess what? I was not able to be authentic in those relationships, and they also were not able to be authentic with me. That's why sometimes, I'm not gonna lie, when I see people do some madness, as much as it can be annoying, I just kind of understand that people cannot give you what they don't have. People cannot give you what they don't have. And me, I can't give people what I don't have. If I have depth in every conversation, every spaces that I enter, depth naturally will be part of my presence because that's who I am on the core, right? So it actually helps you to stop pretending and to just be your real self. Those that are for you are gonna be for you, and those that are not for you, you know what? They will pack their bags, and it's okay for them to pack their bags. Yeah. So it gives you the opportunity to be vulnerable in your relationships, and you know that when you're vulnerable in your relationships, connections, friendships, whatever space that you find yourself in, of course, the right place at the right time, and not everyone you should be vulnerable with. But when you're vulnerable in your relationships, there's a form of intimacy that is birthed between yourself and the other individual. For me personally, for a very long time, I was actually running away from intimacy as much as I thought I wanted it. This could be with like my family members, friends, or whatever it is. As much as I knew I wanted it, I ran away from it from a very, very long time. But I think sometimes when you come into that place of self-acceptance of who you are, you really come into that place of like, I can allow myself to be loved. I can allow myself to receive. And you can begin to see things in a different way than how you would have seen yourself if you're in a state of delusion. Number 3 reasons why you should practice self-transparency is that it strengthens your personal integrity and alignment. Because when you're honest with yourself and you can see the clear black and white, you know where you need to adjust in situations. You know how and where that you need to be flexible. Your choices, your words, your thoughts, your actions begin to align. You stop betraying yourself. You stop people pleasing, stop seeking validation, and start choosing you. Have you ever heard the saying, the truth sets you free? Actually, that's a biblical term. The truth sets you free. The moment that thing can come to light in your awareness, you have attained freedom. This self-transparency is not about being perfect or being hyper-vigilant about yourself or things in general. It just really is the foundation to actually coming to a place of self-love. If you're someone that struggles with self-love or self-compassion, yeah, the very best place I would say to start is to be honest with yourself. No matter how dark it is, no matter how dark, how do we expect other people to accept us for who we are when we've not accepted ourselves? No matter how dark, how murky, how muddy, how dirty, how good, how beautiful, the light and the dark that we tend to possess as human beings, no matter how bad it is, you've got to be real and be honest with yourself and accept it so that change can come. Now, this is for people particularly that are doing that work, are wanting to become good people, wanting to be well-rounded people, comprehensive people that are just well-rounded holistically, like physically, mentally, emotionally, in just spiritually, in every way, right? This is for people that are ready to grow, for people that are ready to develop and become a light in this world. It really all starts with us. But thank you so much for watching today's video. Please do not forget to like, comment and subscribe, and follow me on Instagram and TikTok called He and She Rises _, and I will see you in my next video. Bye.